And right now, Mr. Ricardo Tiago, he is the leader of C-Roads platform, working group 4, focused on urban CITS harmonization. Mr. Tiago, what are the next plans for CITS? And welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. Let me start by trying to share my screen, and I hope you are seeing it.
Yes, it's working. Perfect.
Okay, so good afternoon once again to all of you who are watching us. My name is Ricardo Tiago, and I work in the Institute for Mobility and Transport in Lisbon, in Portugal. And unfortunately, I cannot be in Brno with you, but I'm pleased to be here virtually and to present some of the insights of what's next for ITS, from roads to streets, under the scope of WG4 Urban CITS Harmonization. So the agenda, as you can see, relies on the work that is mostly carried out under WG4. So I'm going to talk about the mission, the interaction within the urban WG4 and the other working groups, a growing family of cities that we are at this moment, give you some of the highlights of 2021 and next steps for WG4 and some of the ideas to conclude. So WG4 Urban CITS Harmonization is, as expected, and it was normally, under the phase 2 of the C-Roads platform. We have two new working groups under the phase 2 and is dedicated to support city authorities interested in the deployment of CITS in urban and metropolitan domains in respect of the binding principles established under the C-Roads platform. And the group is chaired by Portugal and co-chaired by the Italian colleagues. And we are truly honored to share this group. And we have already 144 members. And it gives an impression of the importance of the urban domain for the next stage of CITS. So we have been active since September 2019, when the group was originally and officially set up. And our main goals are on the screen, and for the sake of time, I'm not going to read all of them, but let me just highlight some of them. So we intend to support the testing of cooperative services and the specifications in the urban environment. We want to bridge cities and other working groups of the C-Roads, as was discussed in the previous sessions. And we want also to report the state of the art for cities, including their ITS deployments and plans. And mostly, and for the future idea, we want to build a catalog of CITS services and profiles, considering typical use cases and city-specific in urban and interurban requirements. Obviously, cooperation is critical within our atmosphere and our environment, and we want to support the cooperation of WG4 and the cities with other platforms and projects that are also dealing with CITS in urban domain. And obviously, as what we are doing here today, we want to promote and to disseminate our work. And we have the idea to set up the City Forum annual event. And due to COVID, it was not possible to do it this year, but for sure, in the next years, we will have our City Forum events. And within this picture, just let me highlight the interconnections of the WG4 with other working groups. As you probably expect, the output of the work will not be just a single report on the WG4 atmosphere, but the inputs that is going to be given and provided by all working groups that are constituting the C-Roads platform. So that's why we say that cooperation is the C in the C-Roads family and the C-Roads platform, and it's fundamental to all of us achieve a common goal. As probably this picture was already shown, we are a growing family of cities. We have at the moment 43 European cities on CITS deployment. The map is fully on C-Roads color, and we want to see more and more dots of the cities in the next years to come. So we hope that the group is going to be enlarged in the next years. The more is better. And we do not want to leave any city that is willing to deploy CITS for their citizens behind. So in order to do that, we are sharing and passing on this vision and raising the awareness by setting up some webinars, as other working groups are doing, to raise the awareness. In the first semester of 2021, we did three webinars regarding CITS signalized intersections, hazard location notification, parking information, route advice, dynamically controlled zones, and we have more or less in each webinar almost 100 participants, which give us good vibes of the path that we are pursuing, and we are on track to achieving our objectives. And in these webinars, we intend to have always two cities, one that is probably more advanced and the other one who is more in the beginning stage. And we also want to have institutions, European institutions, that can bring added value and support us in raising the awareness of CITS. And we're very honored to have with us UITP, Car2Car, CEDAR, and Polish, and other distinguished speakers. We hope that you get on board with this kind of webinars and be with us in the next ones that we are planning to do even within this year. So just some ideas of the next steps. Well, in the first phase of our work, we are more or less doing an urban deployment map. We are doing the clustering for the CITS service that cities are going to prepare and to deploy. And as I said, in the second semester, we will have a new round of webinars. And in order to bring cities, other cities that are willing to cooperate with us, we are drafting a concept, CITS City Ambassadors. I will talk about it in the next slide. And for 2022 and beyond, of course, the City Forum, it's going to be one of the highlights of our work. And ultimately, we want to have CITS Urban Services Catalog, the Day 2 services that some of you already probably are aware of the concept, and that the representative of Car2Car mentioned that it's going to be very important in the next years to come. And referring to the city ambassador concept, well, we want to have an agreement with the cities that are already within the C Roads atmosphere, but also with other cities that are willing. The same as we have the associated member states, we want to have associated cities. And we are drafting this city ambassador CITS concept. And the idea is that the city has an ambassador, of course, to discuss with us how the things are going to be developed in an harmonized way, what their requirements for the CITS use cases that they see best fitting for their cities, for their policy goals, mobility policy goals and objectives, and contributing to the European rollout of not only 43 cities, but ultimately all of the cities. We want to share with them and to exchange knowledge about the implementation, and we want to provide contributions and give contributions and receive also their contributions to help us in the group to identify some possible standards, extensions, or gaps that are not yet done and discussed in order to ensure applicability in other urban areas that are besides and beyond the cities that are on the C roads today. Of course, we want them to help us in drafting the future Day 2 use cases that could be pipelined for next projects. And reaching to the end for the sake of time, just to give you some information about these two new round of webinars that we are preparing in October and November. And let me highlight just the last one, because in the morning session, someone asked what is the benefits of CITS if I don't have a driver's license? Well, it was spoken very clearly, but let me just highlight. CITS can bring added value not only for the drivers, but for the environment, for the road environment that is beyond the driver. So if you are a pedestrian, a cyclist, you can use CITS to be aware of the problems, and for us, the drivers, we can also be aware of your place to be, where you're going to do, what your kind of maneuvers, and we will be informing the roads and in the car that there is a cyclist on the way. So the safe atmosphere is for all of us, not only just for the drivers. So we want to raise more and more awareness of the CITS service for cities, for citizens, because we believe, just to wrap up, we believe that, as Suzanne Hodley from Polis mentioned on the third webinar, beyond smarter cities, we need wiser cities. I fully agree, because we need wiser cities and wiser thinking in terms of policies and strategies, mobility, transport, environment, energy, in terms also of technology, their maturity, their availability, their compatibility, and their interoperability, in terms to capitalize and to harness the investments that were made, that are being made, and will be made in the future for sure. So to give you just one final sentence and vision, urban CITS is for sure an important digital and physical layer that needs to be into consideration of a city planner, a mayor, and should be considered on the city budget planning tasks such as road maintenance, signalings, whatever. And because the real benefits of CITS are a given, in my view, and we can bring the C-Roads platform, and the WG4 can bring a real added value for the city discussions. So to conclude, rely on CITS to have safer roads and streets, not only for today, but for tomorrow. Thank you.